So I was thinking about like what are some of the things I want to talk about uh, over the next 4 to 5 days, and I'm going every single day because I think some of you might have read the intro. I'm working on a book, my very first book. I did about 80 pages, and then I got stuck on like what I want to talk about next because there's so many things in my head that I want to talk about. Um, so then I said, man, let me dissect it into smaller pieces, and then give me the discipline to like go online every night and talk about it. Sends, I think I said it right, Miss Sends. Um, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. Uh, and I thought I'll go on every night or every morning, grab my cup of coffee, and chat about a chapter or something I'm working on or something I'm thinking about, and then just share and see, if things can work out. The herbology, what up? Uh, the book is really about finding your passion. Uh, I've been a serial entrepreneur before the word entrepreneur was cool. So for me, while I went to class, the path for academic was sort of what was given, right? You go to school, you learn, you become a doctor, engineer, which I'm not smart to be, an accountant, somebody in business, finance, um, or one of the trades, be a plumber, be electrician, whatever. So you're sort of given this educational purpose, and then you're graded in life on your ability to learn that craft. But I don't know what I'm good at, what naturally makes me, do what I do. And so I resisted academic education for most of my life. And that led to a lot of people just assuming I'm a dumb kid. I was always getting 50s and 60s. My parents really hated it. They thought, fuck, how do we have a son that's so dumb? Especially, being brown, y'all know that. They expect the first kid to be this genius. And it wasn't like I was not paying attention or stupid or I didn't get it. I didn't know why I needed to care about it. And I spent most of my life answering that question of what am I good at naturally? What is my skills? What are my passion? How do I find my purpose? And then how do I channel that into learning what to do? And then how to get better at it, Like if I'm naturally caring, what up, G-Rev? If I'm naturally caring in problem solving and I like to piece things together and things like that, then it makes sense for me to pursue something in engineering or follow something in architecture or do something. Or if I care about humans and I want to help other people not be sick or something like that. So I didn't know what the hell I was good at. So then this formula of like go to school, pick a discipline and then go all in, and then that becomes a career really bothered me until I found entrepreneurship where there was no rules other than what is it that you want to explore about yourself. And that for me is what entrepreneurship has always been. The outcome is a great business. The outcome is potentially some incredible revenue and a lifestyle you dream of. But the reason you get into entrepreneurship is you have this burning desire to ask yourself, what am I good at? When the safety net is out the door and it's just you and the world, what am I good at? And some of the best entrepreneurs I know who are supported and who are, celebrated for the successes, the outcomes that they've done, the reason they get into business or the reason they get into a venture, a side hustle, whatever it is, they ask themselves that important question, what am I made of? What makes me tick? What am I passionate about? And the answer a lot of times takes time to figure out. I've gone through hundreds of startups in my career as I explore different things about me that make me scared, that make me excited, that make me, do what I do, that makes me passionate. I read a quote yesterday, overnight success took 15 years. And that's kind of what we see on social today. This is one of the reasons I stepped away from LinkedIn, or I stepped away from, that corporate noise for a bit, because everybody celebrates this unicorn thing. I just raised $100 million. I just raised $50 million. I just did yes, it's today, but without the context of the journey to get there, we are under this illusion that success is just handed out. You write a business plan, somebody will invest in you. You get a little bit of traction, the customers are going to come knocking down the door. That's not how it works, man. So that's the long-winded answer to Emmett's question of what's my book about. My book that I started writing is really documenting my journey to figure out the answer to that question of what is my passion, what is my purpose. And once you figure that out, how do you make that into a point of trajectory and takeoff? And so much of it, we don't hear about it in the culture. And there is a difference, being Indian has an influence, and I can't ignore it. I can't say, oh, it's anybody can do this. No, there's a cultural nuance. There's a thing that we carry as a burden or a gift, depending on how you look at it, and you got to deal with it. So anyhow, today's topic is really about knockdown versus knockout, and let me set this up. My second business was going really well. We were a software development company. This is 2003, 2004, and we're on our high. I'm a brand new CEO. It's my second company. We had 20 plus people working for us. And I get a knock on the door one day, and it's the taxman TRA saying we haven't filed our HST in over a year. And I'm like, there's no way we didn't file it in over a year, because what's up, Tiara? Tomorrow, I can't wait to talk to you. Tiara's going to be here tomorrow. Phenomenal entrepreneur. Just so many amazing things that I want to share with you guys tomorrow. So tomorrow, come back at 9 o'clock, please. And then I was like, man, I have a business partner whose job is to take care of finances. I'm not good at it. I've already figured out math and me don't get along unless it's about money. So we dissect what the hell happened, and this is not a book plug, but there's a whole chapter on it in the book. I guess it is a book plug. And I realized at the end that we've missed so many HST payments, and we're, I think, a $3 million company then. So you can imagine, 10% or 7% or whatever it was back then, HST, GST split, of a $2 million company over 6 months with interest. It's pretty significant. And we were a cash poor company, but we were a year-end company, meaning every 90 days we owed a ton of money to our consultants. So I only made money at the end of the year. When the dust settles, everybody gets paid. That's when management got paid. So I was like, yo, what the hell did we do? And as a young CEO, that was my very first major knockout. Bam! I was like, how do I come up with over 100 G's in less than 30 days, or my business is going to be shut down? Not because the customers hated us, not because we're a bad company, not because I didn't know how to sell. It's because the government wants to collect their chunk of the pie, and we didn't have that money because I had a shitty business partner. So I started really thinking at that moment around this idea of knockdown versus knockout, because I had no mentors back then. I was trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I deal with this emotional feeling? And I went down this really long research study of how do people recover? And for me, I'm a huge fan of Muhammad Ali, and I started to think about boxing, because if you think about it, in boxing, it's not about the punch, but it's about the ability to take a punch and still stay focused and get back up. And I'm not a boxer by any means. I don't have a background in boxing. I like the ideology of to win a fight, to win a match, to become a champion. It's not about punching only. It's about the ability to take a hit and then continue to stay focused in that chaos and then achieve your goals. And for me, that was a very fascinating idea around that sport. So I started deep diving into it and started to create a philosophy using boxing as a way to help me deal with issues. And this is a blueprint that I created over 15 years ago. And I can tell you, every single time I run into an issue in life, I lean on this ideology of knockdown versus knockout. So I thought I'll share it with you guys. We have 30 minutes together. It's 15 minutes into it. And so that's sort of the philosophy. So, when I started thinking about it, I broke it down into here's the 3 steps. The reality is, most of us, I get punched in the gut, whether it's a business issue, personal issue, relationship issue, you got fired, your lover left you, your business is about to tank. We emotionally feel like it's a knockout. You're done, you're flat, you're on your stomach. The reality is, it's just a knockdown. And the difference is massive. One tells your brain, I'm done, I'm out, there's no options, I'm screwed, this is it, this is over. And our brains are programmed for that message. Like, in our DNA, we don't want to fight back. When there's a giant dinosaur about to eat you, you're not going to stand up there with a spear and go, I'm going to kill you. We're trained to run, to admit defeat and get the hell out. So that's what the brain wants. The brain wants you to tell yourself, man, we're done. We're knocked out. We're out. Shit, I'm going to shut the company down. I'm going to move on. What's up, Melanie? Thanks for coming by. But in reality, if you take a second and absorb what's happening, it is simply a knockdown. And what a knockdown allows you to do is take a breath, reassess, create a game plan, and get back up. And it works in every situation, man. I guarantee you, it works in every situation if you follow the 10 count. And the beautiful thing about boxing as an analogy to continue that is, when you get a punch and you hit the ground, you realize that it's not a knockout, right? There's very few moments in boxing where it's a KO, boom, you're out. In life, sometimes that happens, man. I've had so many businesses that overnight were shut down. We're seeing it in COVID. You can't control it. It's a knockout. I got knocked out. It's cool. You deal with it. But most of the time, we get a 10 count. And for me, this is how I broke down the 10 count, okay? So as soon as something happens to me, I get punched in the gut, my head starts to 10 count. The 10 count sometimes is months, sometimes it's weeks, sometimes it's days, sometimes it's minutes. I'm reacting. But for me, the first thing I tell myself is, damn, this just happened? Okay, 10 count. The thing about the 10 count, and if you talk to some of the best boxers out there, they'll tell you the first 3 count is super important because it sets you up for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What I mean by that is, most of us, when we get hurt or we get a disruption or in life or something, we want to react immediately, right? Somebody breaks up with you, you want to rebound right away. Business is not doing good, you want to shut it down right away. You just want to react as fast as you can. But that's not how it works, because when shit goes wrong, your system and your brain is doing everything possible to scare the shit out of you. Your worst fears feel really, really real. Your ego kicks in. Your emotions are flying high. You're not thinking clear. And it's not something that you can control. It is what happens. And so what I realize is, my first 3 count, I need to emotionally exhaust myself. Native, what up, buddy? I need to emotionally drain myself of that feeling. So getting back to my example, the CRA guy is like, yeah, you got 100 grand that's due in a month. Or we have to literally put the tape around your business, shut you down until you pay. Coffee break. This episode is not sponsored by anybody. And I went back into my office and thinking, okay, what do I do now? I don't have the money. Going to your parents and asking for money is the biggest thing you don't want to do. I don't have liquid assets. Scared, crying. I don't know what to do. I just got married. I got a new house. I got what do I do? And the first 3 count is really about staying in that moment. Because what you want to do is get your brain to start to work again. But it's so clouded by emotion that you got to let the emotion do what it's got to do. You can't fight it. If you got to stay in bed for 3 days, you stay in bed for 3 days. If you got to cry, you cry. If you got to journal, you journal. If you got to call a best friend and confess, you got to call and confess. We have to let the emotion do its thing. Fear is 100% emotion. It's not real. It's complete emotion. The minute you understand that that fear is an emotion, and an emotion is something you can control. Then you let it do its thing. So the first three count is literally exhausting your emotional system, because your brain can't function when it's surrounded by an emotional thing that is saying, oh man, worst case scenario, oh man, you're screwed, oh man, you're going to jail, oh man, your wife's going to leave you, oh man, your staff's going to leave you, and you can't comprehend what the hell's going on. So the first three count in anything in life. Let the emotion ride. Know that there's still 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's a huge transitional moment, man. When you tell yourself, yeah, I'm in the three count, it's cool. I'm going to let it drain out, and then I'll get to step 4. Step 4 is now very interesting, right? Because now you've drained yourself, you're exhausted. The fear eventually leaves because it's got no more space to grow. You're not feeding it, you're just trying to exhaust it. And the minute that emotional wave passes you, then your brain starts to work. It goes, okay, Satish's still here. Tiara's still here. Melanie's still here. Native is still here. They're not giving up. They're not shutting me down. And your brain starts to not do what it's supposed to do, which is create opportunities and options and innovation for you. 4, 5, 6 is where you look for inspiration, is where you look for new ideas, is where you open up yourself to radically new thoughts to get you to 8, 9, 10. And it doesn't happen by accident, okay? What they teach us in school is to fill up our academic brain, right? Formulas and theories and concepts and history. What nobody teaches us is how to fill up what I call the emotional bank. This is the bank account that is carrying all your happy thoughts, your inspirations, your moments of excitement. And it's a bank that you have to invest in every single day. Because in 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's now time to go to that bank account and take out some good moments, some moments of inspiration. A lot of us, when we look back in history, we tend to see all the bad shit that went down first, right? That's what fear does. It reminds you of all the times you fucked up before. So the counter to that, which you need in your 4, 5, 6, 7, to become proactive, to become imaginative, to become just open-minded, you need to have an emotional bank. And there's many ways to build an emotional bank. What you're doing is banking positive moments that reinforce to you that you are better than the current situation. I invest in my emotional bank almost daily. It's full of songs that inspire me. My go-to track, Black Album, Jay-Z. Like anytime I'm in my 4, 5, 6 count, I know what playlist I'm going to. It's got all of the big tracks that get me out of the rut. I know what books I'm going to read. I know what movies I'm going to watch. Scarface, one of my favorite movies. Almost anytime I get into a business challenge, I put on Scarface. And I watch the whole bloody 3-hour movie. Pumps me up. Makes me feel so energized. There's restaurants that I know that makes me happy. There's certain types of food that I know that changes my mood. There's certain people that I call to take me from 4, 5, 6, 7. This emotional bank is so important, and nobody has really taught kids or even adults how to handle it until it gets way too late, and now we're paying millions of dollars or thousands of dollars in therapy sessions with somebody telling you the exact same thing I'm just telling you right now. Build your emotional bank. Pearly, what's up? I can't wait to talk to you soon on the show, man. I don't know if it's a show. It's episode 2. I don't know. We'll see if anybody digs it. Emotional bank is so important in 4, 5, 6, 7. Because what happens is you now start to look up. And you start to now get up. And you start to now find your ground again. You now start to get an idea in your head. You start to think about an attack plan. You start to think about a strategy. You start to think about a pivot. Because the emotional weight is gone. Fear is gone. What up, Raf? Fear is gone. You're in your 4, 5, 6, 7 count. You're inspired. You're tapping into your emotional bank that you're feeding every single day. Whatever those moments are. Great book. I've got an entire section of my emotional bank of just memories of my kids, yo. Because when it gets really hard and I need to find that thing, I dive into that little section. I've got videos of my kids on a folder ready for instant access whenever I need it. Building your emotional bank is probably one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself because you have to design it consciously. You can't just build it on demand. It's an everyday thought pattern. Things that make you feel good, anchor it, put it into your memory bank. Some cases it's physical. I've got a section of books over there that I only read when I'm in my 4, 5, 6, 7 count. I've got a playlist which I'm happy to share with anybody that's got my 4, 5, 6, 7 count. And what's amazing as you come out of this 4, 5, 6, 7, it's much easier to get into a position of attack. And again, everybody who's just joining us just now, a knockdown is not a knockout. It's a choice to get out of the game. It's a choice to get knocked out. 8, 9, 10. You're primed. You're emotionally stable. You're giving yourself permission to dream huge and big and crazy, right? I'll tell you guys, this is like putting into practice, right? Year 1 Desi Fest. Some of you that don't know me, that know me with the festival. What up, Tosh? Some of you know me with the festival. We tried anything possible to get a venue for Desi Fest Year 1. I went to bars, I went to clubs, I went to event spaces. And we're talking like 14 years ago, where South Asian events were still considered very risky because we all got drunk and fought and created a bunch of shit. There was some truth to it, can't lie, but it didn't mean it could discriminate against giving us venue. And I was in my 1, 2, 3 count, man, because I was so excited. I'm pumped. I got a sponsor ready to go, and I'm calling every venue in the city, and everything is a no, 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 no. Not because it's a shitty event, but because they don't understand brown people. And I'm in this rut, trying to figure out what the hell to do, and I got promises made, and I'm a young entrepreneur, and I've sold this big idea. People have given us money. My reputation's on the line, and I went through this 1, 2, 3 count, fully depressed. But I was like, I'm gonna stay depressed. It's cool. I gotta let this energy out. And then when I got to my 4, 5, 6, 7, I said, all right, so venues don't want us. Bars don't want us. Security is an issue. What else can I do? Where else can I dream big? Can I do it in my buddy's condo terrace? Can I rent a little island? Can I bus people somewhere? Like, you just give yourself permission to go so wide and so deep because you're not afraid anymore. That emotion has been drained out of your system. And I was at Eaton Center, and I was like, well, Young Dundas is right here. Why not? What's one more no going to be? Called him, pitched him. We had a great conversation. And because I was in my 4, 5, 6, 7 zone, and then I've got out of my 1, 2, 3, and I'm getting into my 8, 9, 10, I already knew every rejection they're going to throw at me. And I actually went there with an entire plan to say, here's all your concerns. Here's how I'm going to deal with it. And didn't give them a chance to say no, because I've already figured all of the no's from the other episodes and meetings and conversations. And we dreamt so big. Imagine if we're at Young Dundas Square with the lights in the heart of the city. Even if we could do it only 1 year, that'd be such an amazing FU to everybody else that said no to us. And then 14 years later, we're here. But 8, 9, 10 is when you start to think about big, huge, grandiose ideas, because you're no longer scared about them. You're no longer nervous about them. You're already starting to get up. You know this is not a knockout. It's a knockdown. That's all it is. And I think the greatest thing about being an entrepreneur, or the greatest thing about adversity in life, and why I look for them, I embrace them, I look for opportunities to get knocked down as often as possible, is it teaches you how to stand up. Just like I said in the early conversations, to be a great boxer, it's not about learning how to land a punch, but it's about knowing how to take a punch, get knocked down, you get back up, stay focused, and then finish the fight. Win or lose, you finish the fight. And that's what this entire journey has been for me, to go, how do I, as often as possible, embrace the idea that I'm going to get knocked down, Some cases knocked out. I've had many, many shitty businesses where money and time and effort has gone out the door. But in all of them, every single knockdown has taught me how to stand back up. And I've got a formula for my 10 count. I know that no matter what happens, there's a 10 count in life. And it's such an amazing feeling when you know that there is a 10 count, because nothing happens immediately. And so if you get anything from today, the hope is you understand that all of us are going to get knocked down at some point. If you don't have a blueprint, here is one. You got a 10 count in every situation. And to summarize, the first 3 count is when you're going to just feel the worst. And that's okay, because your emotion and your brain can't compete. So let the emotion win. Let it drain. Be afraid. Be scared. Cry. Be nervous. Explore every worst case scenario in your mind. It feels real, but it's all in your mind. And fear is an emotion. It's not reality. 99% of the things we're afraid of in life never actually happen. But it does happen in our brain, and it's a strong enough feeling because it's tied so closely to our emotion. So feel it, embrace it, cry, laugh, drink, talk, meditate, whatever you got to do, man. Stay in that mode. Don't fight it, because eventually the emotion will drain and your brain will start to operate. Then you're in 4, 5, 6, 7. Tap into your emotional bank. If you don't know what it is, watch this video and start feeding your emotional bank. Start creating these chapters by conscious design. What's your playlist? What's your movie list? What's your books? What's your friends list? What's the place you want to go to? What food you want to eat? All of these become your emotional bank. And when you get out of 7, you know you're ready to attack. You're set. You're ready to go. You got your game plan. The emotion's out. You're in operational mode. 8, 9, 10, baby. That's when we get out. That's when we're ready to punch back. That's all I got to share. So plan for the knockdowns. And it's part of life. Can't avoid it, but you got a game plan for it. And then embrace it. Embrace every fight, no matter what it is, because it's there to help you learn how to stand up. That's all I got. If anybody's got any questions, happy to share. If this is just a quick little pick-me-up in the morning, that's cool too. For those of you that found me by accident, my name is Satish Bala. I go by Sats B. I'm working on a book, and this is a project for me to share, but also learn and explore and get better at speaking about my thoughts. So much of my stuff is like locked up. I didn't have an outlet, and until I bring it out, I can't articulate it. So every single day from 9 to 10, I'll be on talking, sharing, or bringing on incredible guests like Tiara tomorrow, female entrepreneur in one of the hardest businesses, cannabis, and she's kicking it up a storm. Super smart, and I'd love for you guys to meet her tomorrow and get to know her journey a little bit. Making money moves is really about taking the emotion out of money, creating a strategy around what you love to do, finding your passion or purpose, and then going all in for that trajectory. I'm just a kid from India, got some lucky breaks, and found that answer to what am I good at through trial and error, and then being able to focus that into what I'm doing now. And so if I could do it, man, y'all can do it too, and the blueprint is yours. So that's all I got to say. Have a great day. If there's a question, a comment, if you need me to be in your emotional bank, if you want me to be one of the numbers in your 1, 2, 3 count, add it, do it. I'm here to support. But please spend the rest of today to just think about what is your 10 count. Know that you got a 10 count. Focus on your first 3. Give yourself permission to feel the pain, and you have to feel it. That's the only way it's going to get drained. And then build your emotional bank. So many amazing things happen every single day that we just ignore. So don't ignore them. Write them down. Put them in a cheat box. I've got friends who I've taught this to, and now they carry stickies with them everywhere they go. I have it all the time around me. If you know me, I have a sticky note around me every single place I go to. And anything that happens that it should be my emotional bank. I write it down right away. I write it down and I toss it into my little bag. And now I have a bunch of stuff that I'm storing. And then I can lean into it anytime I want, which is an important skill. If you got kids, teach them that. Teach them how to invest in their emotional bank. The greatest investment you can make is in your emotional bank. And then 8, 9, 10 is easy, man. It doesn't mean you're not going to get knocked out. We're going to get knocked out in life at some point. It just happens. It's going to happen. But 99% of the time, it's a knockdown. I wish you an amazing day. Thank you, Melanie, for showing up. Rav, thank you so much, man. Unlike Facebook, it doesn't show people's faces and like real names, so I'm just gonna shout out. Mixed Up, what's up? Thank you so much for joining us. The Side Out Lens, Young Killer Official, what up? Tosh, Pearly, thank you. Alina, thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm back tomorrow. Tomorrow's got a special guest, so if you're around, stop by, grab a cup of coffee, 30-minute boost, you and me. I love you for stopping by. Feel free to get in touch with anything that I can help with. We'll see you guys. Have a fantastic day.